What's poppin'? It's your boy Cassius Cuvée. Had to bring on my homegirl Cassie. She's fresh back from the Bahamas. You were down there, you know, seeing the trial of Sam Bankman-Fried. What's poppin', Cassie?
Oh my gosh, Cassius. Okay, so first of all, so this is like so last minute, right? I think you remember we were at Decentral and it was kind of mentioned like, yeah, do you guys want to go down in January and protest? And I'm like, hell yeah, that sounds great. That's a great idea. So literally right after I leave Decentral, it's like the day after I get back, I get a message and he's like, hey, what are you doing the second week of December? And I'm like, you mean like next week?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you want to go to the Bahamas? I'm like, all right, let's go. So I help all the, like, basically book all the hotels and everything. So I was kind of slammed with that leading up to, dude, I was so stressed. I was like trying to get these investors going, like talking to people. It was great though. So we get down there, get set up. And within this time period too, Sam gets arrested. Which totally
right. He wasn't arrested yet.
Right.
You guys were, that's right. At that time, he was not arrested yet.
Yeah. So, and we're supposed to go down and protest for his arrest. Well, then he gets arrested. And I'm like, well, what are we doing now? You know, we already booked all these hotel rooms, these flights. And so, you know, the narrative has changed. It's like, well, actually, now that that's happened, that's great. Actually, it's great that he's been arrested. So
hell yeah.
Why don't we go down there and, you know, talk to the Bahamian people and kind of get a feel for it and have some conversations about how we're going to address these kind of things moving forward in DeFi. You know, like when we have these bad actors in the space, it really makes everyone look bad because
right. No, it gives everyone a bad name because the mainstream can say, you know, all kind of FUD talking about, see, we told you crypto is bad. It's like, no, there's actually a centralized player. You know, we got to have the nuanced conversation that they don't have to have.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's actually, I was just looking at it the other day, the New York Times on their website, they talk about what happened with FTX. They're like, what caused the downfall of FTX? They're actually blaming it on CZ, not on the fact that FTX was using customer funds. You know, they're changing this narrative. It's like they're trying to turn DeFi into traditional finance.
Honestly, you know, and I won't dwell on it long, but I think that the real reason for all this kind of FUD is they want to push the prices down so that the powers that be can get in on the low. I honestly think that.
Totally.
I mean, I called this back in 2021. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just no conceivable way that like a smart person who studies finance is going to fall for that. So it's a narrative by and large to try to scare as many regular folks as they can.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, it's been working.
Right.
But there's still, I feel like we have a nice foundation of people. Everyone that came out, all the influencers, man, it was such good vibes. I mean, I love getting together and we were staying in an Airbnb, right? So Loudmouth, me, Keeper, Blonde Broker, Dapper Damon, like everybody was just so chill. And
obviously I know Ben was there. Ben, AJ, yeah. I know they were there. BitBoy Crypto
Ben and AJ came out. And so Ben was in a hotel, but all the rest of us had like this amazing house together.
I saw it too, you know, and we got to put some of that footage on here. We're gonna show off someday because you guys were looking like it was cold everywhere else. You was looking like you was having a great time.
It was amazing to be right by the ocean. And I've never been to the Bahamas. I definitely want to go back though. We didn't do a lot of touristy stuff.
Right.
But so there were some really great conversations with the investors. One specifically, and I think she was interviewed by several different media outlets.
Just to clarify real quick, who are the investors? Is it people who invested in FTX or people who had money in FTX? Is that what you mean by investors?
Yes.
Okay.
And her name was Rebecca. Super, super nice lady. Like, I don't know. She was a dream. Her retirement had sold her house, put her money in FTX. It was like $1.3 million. And it was, you know, gone. But still, so she wasn't angry. You know, she wanted to talk. Those conversations with her moving forward, like how can we kind of mitigate this in the future? What do we need to do as a community in a space to prevent these things from happening? Super productive. So we get down there. We meet with Lincoln Bain. So he's a candidate for prime minister down there. Incredible guy, not a politician previously, you know, so definitely like fresh perspective and great opinions, very progressive. We get down, we meet with him. He kind of explains the layout of the situation. Down there, the casinos are a huge attraction. Bohemian citizens cannot gamble.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
They also cannot put money in FTX or crypto exchanges. So it's really interesting because essentially it's like the Bahamian government allows these outside groups to come in with a lot of money, right? They pay them off and then their people don't benefit from it at all. Like they're restricted.
Well, in this case, it might have protected them.
And this
Right.
case, it might have protected him. Yes. But there was an article that came out before saying that like 15,000 Bohemians were able to withdraw their money from FTX, and that's garbage.
I saw that. So that's not true?
Nah.
Okay. See, this is, and just so you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you come on here and talk to us, other than to catch up though, but come on camera and tell me about your trip to the Bahamas, is because what you guys did is actual real reporting, right? It's actually real journalism. You went down there, you saw firsthand for yourself the court cases, talk to the people. I don't have to rely upon the mainstream media, right? It's a hell of a thing. These are crypto influencers, people totally independent of any corporate, overlords who can bring me back the real. So I appreciate you coming on here and telling us what you saw firsthand, learned, about the laws and everything like that. So please continue.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes me want to be everywhere now though, because it's just the narrative is so different. But so we went down to the police department. So essentially the thing was, they were saying that they couldn't arrest Sam based on the Bahamian laws because no one in the Bahamas had filed a complaint against him. When he was arrested, it was actually on behalf of the US, right? So the first thing we wanted to do was go down and file police reports. We got down to the police station, there were cameras and stuff, and actually there's footage online, and Lincoln Bain kind of explained what we were doing. And then we went to go into the police station, and they locked the doors.
After you went inside?
No, before we could get in. And so we're standing
that might
there.
freak you out if you walk in and they lock you in. Okay, they locked you out. Okay.
That would have been way worse. But so they locked us out, and so we waited and waited. Eventually, they let us in. The officers there said that they couldn't accept the reports because it had to be like some special division or something, and that they would see us the following morning at like 11 a.m. right, to file those reports. Funny enough, we left the police station. Within an hour, news came out that Sam was going to be extradited on Monday, and that he was going to be going to court for extradition. So that was an interesting, and you'll see why here in just a second. So the next day they go in. I actually didn't go in this time, but they went in and filed the police reports. They received some pushback, but Rebecca's did get filed, and so we were good to go there. On Monday for Sam's extradition hearing, we got there at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
I remember I was following her here on Twitter.
Yeah, it was really early. We probably could have waited a few hours, but we hung out for a while, and then the news media outlets started showing up. CNN, I think Bloomberg was there, NBC.
And yeah, you guys were the first ones there.
Yes, and so it was interesting even talking to them and kind of getting their perspective, on what was going on. So we waited. We were hoping to see Sam come in, but maybe we weren't on the right side. We ended up going up, getting in line. It's first come, first serve, right, to get into the courtroom. Waited in line for a while. We noticed a couple people come in from the FBI and the US Embassy, and probably getting ready to take Sam out. Had some hangups on getting into the courtroom. You had to have a press pass, no more than two people from each media outlet. I showed my passport. It just said I made something up so I could get in. No recording was allowed in the courtroom. So, and this is where it gets really interesting. So Sam comes in. I actually kind of felt bad for him.
Really?
He just had this, he looked terrified. And of course he saw Ben, and that, I know that didn't help, Then what happened? I think Ben said that he waved at him. Yeah, Ben was having a great time being in that courtroom.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't have felt sorry for him at all. I don't give a damn what his face looked like.
I know. I think it's just one of those things. And even Erin and I were talking, Blonde Broker and I were talking, because she had like a guest. She worked there for like 3 months just as a guest and didn't know about any of this stuff. And it's really interesting too, because even when you talk about so Sam's bodyguard while he was out was our bodyguard while we were there.
Oh, really?
I know. It's wild. Super nice guy. And when I talked to him about Sam, everything he said was good. I mean, they weren't obnoxious. Erin was explaining that they took great care of their employees. So they
had the money to.
Her. Yeah. Well, and that's, I think especially with her, that duality of having this experience with him and thinking overall that he's a pretty great guy, to finding out that he was doing this was just really difficult. I know it was a really emotional time for her. So, but while we're sitting in court, and it was just even the way it opened up, it opened up with the prosecuting attorney standing up and he's like, Your Honor, we want to talk to you in chambers. Defense counsel and I had a conversation earlier, and there's some things we need to discuss. And the defense was absolutely adamant that he's like, we did not have a conversation. You called me about this one document, right? The indictment charges. And so it was interesting because immediately these two are hostile against each other. Like, they are fired up. And the defense counsel was swearing up and down. He was telling the judge, he's like, Your Honor, I had nothing to do with this. I don't even know why my client's in court today. Essentially what it boiled down to, it was very dramatic. Essentially what it boiled down to was his attorney did not file the motion for extradition. They don't know who did.
Oh, okay.
So, which is, that's
so not the prosecuting attorney?
No, the defense attorney did, neither of them did. And the prosecuting attorney was saying that it was some other guy who's, who obviously is not Sam's counsel. And so ultimately, and at one point, Sam stood up and beckoned his attorney over, and he's like, you don't understand. I have to leave today. It's very dramatic. He clearly did not want to be there. So it was interesting because ultimately they ended up determining, the judge was like, okay, are you, is this your attorney? And Sam says yes. And he says, are you represented by anybody else? And Sam says no. And they essentially dismissed the motion, although that's not the verbiage that other people have used. They dismissed it so Sam could file, and actually his attorney would make the motion himself.
So some other random person filed that. We don't know who it was.
Yeah.
And they filed it on his behalf.
Yes, to get him out.
Interesting.
As quickly as possible.
Interesting.
Right. So okay. It was definitely politics and law have been one of my passions for the greater part of a decade. And I've been in a lot of courtrooms. I've never seen anything like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think the judge in this situation was corrupt. I don't think anybody in it I'd like to think that. Okay. There are other opinions, but so he did not get extradited that day. I think the extradition hearing ended up concluding a couple days later. And then of course, at this point, he's getting out on bail and he's back in the States.
Well, real quick, is there more specifically you want to tell me about Bahamas? I do want to talk to you more about the more current stuff about his bail. Yeah.
So, and I don't know if this has been, I'm trying to think on my, okay. Yeah, actually. So this was kind of the goal, and this is what we were doing. So we filed this lawsuit, and this is Ben's lawsuit through BitPack US, which is the nonprofit that they've recently started. And we filed a civil lawsuit in the Bahamian court. So what happened was while Sam Bankman-Fried was down there, he was purchasing properties in the Bahamas using FTX money, right? But they were going into the names of the natives there, into some corrupt officials on the higher end of the corruption spectrum, right? Politically. So essentially what happened was when he got arrested, of course they're going to keep those properties. Right?
Yeah,
why would they come back?
His name. Okay. Yeah.
Right. There's no reason to. So when he got extradited back, he's got plenty of other stuff to be worrying about. And so when we filed this lawsuit, it was against FTX and against Sam, specifically about these properties. Now, for him to defend himself or provide a response in this case would indicate that he'd essentially be admitting to criminal conduct, right?
Right.
So the goal here was to essentially win that case, take those properties back, right? And then figure out a way to reimburse everyone who lost money in FTX.
Do you know how much the value of those properties were, approximately, a ballpark, anything?
I don't.
Okay. I can assume they are large.
Yeah. I know there's some numbers floating around online, but as far as the real estate they're uncovering just everywhere, but so that's the hope. That's the plan. And so far, and I can't really give any more information than that, but so far I think I'm pretty bullish on it. I think we're doing pretty good here. So,
okay. All right. Well, that's good. I want everybody, as many people as possible, to get something back, because obviously this is the biggest, dollar for dollar scam ever, as far as how much money was vanished. We know a lot of it's fake, token price, blah, 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 but still, a lot of people got a lot of money taken, and not just small retail people either. There's some big rich people as well, and which is why I ultimately think is the one thing that will bring them down, because when you screw over a little guy, usually they get away with it. But like Bernie Madoff, he screwed over a bunch of rich people.
Right.
You could, he got, Sam Bankman-Fried probably has a lot of people who are looking out to protect him, but he got a lot of people against him too. He took millions, if not billions from. So ultimately, my humble prediction is that his ass is going to jail, especially, of course, with, Caroline and Wang testifying against him. So,
oh yeah,
that brings us to where we are now.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that they had pled guilty, I was like, oh, he's going down.
Yeah, they would know. You know what I mean? There's no way their testimony is going to get thrown out. So his ass is going down. I just hope it's sooner than later.
How long do you think he's going to end up getting?
How much time?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Bernie Madoff, it's different. It's definitely different. This is more complex. It's international. It's not, also within our borders. I have no idea. I hope it's 150 years. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my humble prediction, also, him getting let out free on bond for basically nothing. I know a lot of people are upset about it. I'm upset about it too. But I don't know. Somebody might get his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like they might say, okay, go ahead, be free. Because, people talk about you might get Epstein or whatever, but I'm like, I don't know. Again, he pissed off a lot of people, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of security you get when you're on house arrest or whatever. But now at the same time, there's a lot of people who don't like his ass. Now, me personally, I didn't have any money in FTX. I learned my lesson with Celsius. And also I knew he was a fraud a long time ago. I would say it on my calls and stuff. And people act like he was some kind of philanthropist. And I knew he was a fake philanthropist, which is why I knew the whole thing was a fraud. And I, personally didn't lose anything, but I hate scammers like this. Because they were trying to utilize the fact that he's a philanthropist, which is why FTX has no fees. And I see micro-influencers on TikTok talking about it and stuff. And I'm like, that's not a business model. Like, you guys are all falling for this. And I will say this, the one good thing about crypto is that this shit gets flushed out pretty fast, right? Bernie Madoff went on, I don't know, a decade or something. Like, this kind of stuff, these people get found out relatively quick in crypto. And I'm actually glad about that, because the faster we clean up all the bad actors and get self-regulation, I think the better it will be for the long term. Obviously, it sucks for everyone who lost money. Like I said, I lost money in things as well. We don't want that to happen. I wish we could get reimbursed, but ultimately, as a long-term bullish person on blockchain and crypto technology, I just think that we got to clean it up some kind of way.
Absolutely. Well, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about, because I'm going to be starting a position here shortly with the nonprofit. And I mean, there's a plan kind of in place. We're still working out the details, but there's going to be a DAO. The idea is to eventually become the regulatory body for digital assets.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes. And that's typically how that starts. I mean, you have companies like the Better Business Bureau, which is a total scam. But the Better Business Bureau, essentially, and we're still discussing things, but I think even from from an industry standpoint, having like influencers involved and having kind of a standard code of conduct, so it's like, hey,
we got to start somewhere.
Exactly. And with, education and everything, we've got like a pretty good outline going, but I think you would be amazing.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I just interviewed the president of Cross Tower. They're a centralized exchange. They have a lot of other stuff going on in crypto as well. But also, she really is about what she called originally self-regulation, and she proposes some ideas on how to do that, bring them together. So that episode is going to drop here soon. I know this will be a little delayed by maybe a couple of days, but it's just finished right before I got on this call with you. So basically, we can see some of her ideas as well, coming from the perspective of the president of a centralized exchange. And I discussed it with her for a little while, and you guys can take that for what it's worth as well. See how that might fit in or coincide with the ideas you guys have for that nonprofit and that DAO.
Yeah, no, I love that. Absolutely. And well, and it all comes down to having good people. Right. That's such a big part of it is people with the right intentions and who actually want to help build and create that. Like I posted yesterday, it's like everybody says that, and it makes me crazy, but that we're not early anymore, right? Well, we are early.
I don't say that.
Yeah, I know.
I say we're early all the time.
Maybe we're a little too late to buy Bitcoin.
So I want to clarify this, right? And I feel like I have to keep repeating this. There's a difference between blockchain technology evolution and building, the actual tech, and investing. It's two different things. Okay. Yes. Now, I'm not against investing. Everyone knows I'm an investor. I'm also a trader, but with crypto, I'm actually more of a long-term investor than a trader. But the technology of the blockchains itself aren't exactly coincide with price, right? If you're an investor, price action is what you go by, and that's totally fine. So you could say, so for the price of Bitcoin, for example, is it going to go up another, 80,000% from here? No. So you're not early in that respect on something like Bitcoin. But as far as how crypto fits into the world of finance and economic relief across borders. We're very early there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, across borders and government, this is a brand new set of circumstances for humanity, right? Like there's never been just, trustless, borderless payment processing types of systems. And then when you couple that with, Web 3.0 and how information and technology is shared going forward in the future, obviously digital ownership, identity, and actually, owning a piece of what you contribute on the internet, which is the blockchain, which we don't have right now. That is very early. We haven't even scratched the surface really on that. And how should it appropriately be regulated? No, we're super duper early. As far as price action on Bitcoin, if I buy one Bitcoin, will it be worth $1 billion? No, but you're probably not early on that. You're not early, right? But as far as the actual adoption of how this is all going to work, we're still hella early.
Absolutely. I love that. I love the way you laid that out, because it's so true. I mean, and there's so much more happening right now. The fact that the government is acknowledging, I absolutely understand why people who got in years ago, and I've met quite a few people like this who they got in initially at like 2013, not really knowing what they're doing. Nothing really happened with it. There wasn't really there was really no progress then. Right. So eventually they're just like, all right, and then
there's been an explosion of awareness in the last since 2021. Here's the thing, right? I watch CNBC and Bloomberg every day, right? I had the viral video SPAC dream on CNBC and stuff. So that was in first week of February 2021, right? The way I even learned about blockchain technology is because everyone's like, you got to make NFT, you got to make NFT. And I was like, what the hell's an NFT? I couldn't wait to go to this NFT class to try to learn what it was in like April. So that's in 2021, that's last year. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So like CNBC was not talking about cryptocurrencies every single day. Mm-hmm. Now, every single day, every single hour of every single show, there is a block segmented for blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. It's separate from tech, separate from finance. You get what I'm saying? Like they're never not talking about it. Doesn't matter what the price action is. It is a new sector of the S&P or of the, of the stock market, if you will, as far as conversation. That alone tells you that it's real. Going by price is like whatever. I mean, price action moves for a lot of different reasons. I'll say that for another video. Market caps and all kinds of stuff, liquidity. But as far as being in the minds of folks in the general mainstream finance space, it's there. It's living there. It's rent free, 24/7. It's not going away. It's even where Gary Gensler and the SEC. It's there, right? Congress is there. This is no longer that's for millennials or winter tech people or internet people. No, they know it's real. They know it's real. Yeah. I was at Money 2020. All the bankers, they know it's real. Like this is no longer just something for internet funny money for idiots on the internet to play games and stuff. No. So people will think it's going to die. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Like
there's not a chance.
What are you talking about? So it's we're in a builder's market, right? And this is one thing I definitely want to talk about with you too. We just came from Miami. We're at Art Basel Week. This was after the Central, and we're in the bottom of a bear market. I don't see anything but excitement in person, in real life, right? Like everybody is like, okay, now I'm building this project. I'm like, there was nobody who was like, man, this blockchain ain't working out. Like, no, like price action is totally different because we know, by the way, price is affected by so many macro environments, whether it be, all the tech stocks dropped too, bonds, everything fucking dropped in 2022, So, that based on the Fed and interest rates, that doesn't have to do with the advancement of the technology.
No.
And so, the excitement that we see in person in real life proves to me that it's going to come back as far as price as well as advancement of the technology, because adoption is what's going to drive it. Because specifically, depending on the tokenomics of said crypto, you have a set cap supply on that coin. I can't sit here and tell you today which one's going to take over Web3 or anything like that, or exactly how that's going to work out. But blockchain technology as a whole is not going away.
No. And that's, and back to being a decentral. I mean, that's part of one of the reasons that I've gone to so many conferences this year, is because it's the enthusiasm and the passion and the conversations I get to have with people. I'm only one person. So when it comes to all the projects that I'm interested in, I don't have time to cover all of them.
Right.
I've got other stuff going on too. And there's nothing I love more than going to a conference and talking to somebody who's passionate about something that I'm into, and listening to, their opinions and their ideas about the ecosystem cosmos. Actually, I think we had that conversation.
Oh yeah. I like them too.
I've been putting together a spreadsheet of all the conferences I'm going to this year already.
Right. Hard to stay organized, right?
Yes.
Both of us have been traveling separately. This is the first time we really got to kick it at one though. So that was dope too.
Yes.
Anything else I gotta know? Anything else you want to tell the world?
I'm gonna start streaming on YouTube, Twitch, maybe LinkedIn and Facebook.
Nice. And how often do you think you're gonna start doing that? Once a week or something, or?
I think I'm going to start with once a week.
Okay, cool.
Just to kind of, you and I kind of had that conversation about streaming every day, and like, I don't think I'm ready to jump.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to do that. But, certainly a weekly recap is always good.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I'm going to do, so the first one I'm doing, my first stream it's going to be on the 30th.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a 2022 crypto year in review, right? I'm just going to talk about all the big things that happened. So, Voyager, FTX, all the exchanges that went down.
What a hell of a year.
Oh my gosh, man.
How long are you going to stream for?
An hour. It's going to
okay, you're going to cover a lot in an hour. I'm going to be doing Poppin Cryptos probably more regularly as well with my partner, Web3 at Web3 Wealthy is his name on Twitter. His name's Jalen, J-Man. And so me and him are going to have one coming up here too. We're doing kind of same idea, recap, but also a lot of music oriented and focused. I've got a new song dropping here pretty soon. I got my rap for my show coming out here about cross-tower and centralized exchanges and self-regulation. And, I'm going to bring on some other artists so that they can spin. This will be Twitter Spaces. So not necessarily streaming live, but verbally, vocal. So that way we can kind of get the word out probably about once a week. That's going to be dope.
Yeah. Let me know when let me know.
Yeah. You're going to be one of the speakers, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll jump in.
For sure. And I'm going to do it. Mine is going to be quick, just a half an hour. Let everybody get a chance to speak 1 minute at a time. Wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make my shit fast, man. We can't do the long life stories. You know what I mean? I want people to have fun. That's kind of, I feel my role kind of in the space, if you will, is to have some fun, bring a smile on your face. We've been down all year long and I don't even trip off it. We gotta try to have some fun in the space. Have music usually brings a smile on people's faces. But we also talk about some real shit too. And as an investor, we're going to give you some alpha.
Yes. Love it. I love all of it. I love your enthusiasm and your energy and just, bro, I
love your energy too, man. We was kicking it tough in Miami. We was going everywhere. Me and you, Tom Crown, everybody, we was doing it big.
Oh yeah. Are you going on the cruise in April?
You mentioned it to me. I gotta book it. I still gotta book it.
Yes, for sure. I think, so Blonde Broker and I'll be there, and then Keeper is going to be there. Dapper Damon booked his.
Oh, man,
so Loudmouth, I think, booked his.
Oh yeah, okay, Loudmouth, the whole crew. Crypto Keeper from Debate Crypto. Everybody on there. Blonde Broker, she got a show coming out on Netflix. Everybody's popping.
Oh, that's going to be great. Good time.
Sure. I'm about to get ready to go to CES in Las Vegas. That's what I'm going to do first week of, it's on the 5th of January. That's going to be dope. It's a big tech conference. So I know a few of the companies there actually. I've had them on my show and stuff. So that's going to be dope. We'll probably do some performances at their different booths, right? For Vue6 is one of the booths that get me in there. So I'll probably perform my Vue6 rap there. But
awesome.
Man, this is going to be a crazy year. My new song, I'm going to just tease it right now. It's called I'm Verified on DeSo. That's decentralized social. I remember talking to you and Tom about it. Tom already's got an account on there. The hook goes, fuck Instagram, man. I'm verified on DeSo. Yep.
I love it.
I'm going to start making the rounds because here's the thing, and I'll wrap it up with this, okay? And this is the first time really putting this out to the world. Web 2 has been a scam. So for all the people who think that Web 3 is a scam, pump and dump, this and that, no. They literally have scammers every single day, millions of times a day on Web 2. And I mean the truest definition of the word scam, right? They make a fake profile that looks just like you. They buy a bunch of followers, one letter of your name off, and then somehow they get into the primary DM of your followers and start asking for money and shit. That's like a square one-on-one scam, okay? Yes. Instagram does nothing about it. Nothing about it. It's been years now. We've been going on at least 2 years since I've personally seen it, and I don't even have that many damn followers. So anybody with more than 4,000 or 5,000 followers must have it every damn day too. And I'm just sick of anybody talking about any breath you spend talking about how Web3 is a scam when there's way less people in Web3 than there are in fucking Instagram. And Instagram is just letting these motherfuckers get scammed every single fucking day, relentlessly. Yep. They don't close this hack. However they get into the primary DMs, that's how I know it's a scam, right? That's how I know Instagram is in on the scam. You're no longer negligent. You're complicit when you haven't fixed this hack. So I'm about to go hard on motherfuckers. That's what I'm doing in 2023. I'm coming out the gate swinging. And my song's a fucking banger too.
I love that. I mean, and that's so accurate. Like it's funny because the more I've gotten involved in crypto and the more people, that I've met just in the space, like I've gotten messages from friends who are like, hey, did you make a new Instagram account? Like fake profiles on
every day.
I get messages from fake profiles of my friends
every day.
and they don't
so
go away.
multiply that by every single person on Instagram, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, relentless. They've done nothing to stop it. You're telling me that their algorithm is so smart, their AI is so smart that if I post a picture of a baddie with half a nipple showing, it automatically gets flagged. But you have no way of knowing that someone just bought a brand new account where they bought a bunch of followers and somehow can get into the primary DMs of people who don't follow them. Like, you telling me there's not a bunch of red flags that trick some, like scam warning or something? You don't do nothing about it? Come on, man. They shouldn't even be able to get into the primary DMs, right? If you try to DM somebody who don't follow you, they're not gonna see it. It goes all the way over that third column, right? If I wouldn't follow you and I tried to DM you, you wouldn't even know. But somehow these scammers are allowed to get into the primary DM. How is that possible, Mark? You know what I'm saying? They ain't done shit about it. Nothing. And that is a direct scam. So I'm about to go hard this year on the motherfucker because I don't want to hear about crypto's a scam and all that. Okay, what about all the Web 2 scams? Every day.
That are and everybody's just complicit.
Y'all not doing shit about it. So I don't want to hear it, on the Web 3, because a pump and dump, even that, or a bad investment, even that, is a much more like, it was a scam in the end. These people are like a literal scammers,
actually trying to get money from people.
It goes into the larger issue of identity as well, which is what blockchain is trying to solve and fix for folks. Real identity. And that's what my song is called. I'm verified on DSO. I mean, not everyone is verified on DSO. I happen to be. That's decentralized social media. But that verification is what can protect you from some of these scammers. So my followers know if it ain't the blue check mark, it ain't me. But you're in this exclusive club with a blue check mark. Well, maybe I can just get verified a way that I'm not trying to be famous, but I'm just trying to not look like a fucking fraud. I'm not trying to look like all these 100 impersonators of me. And they offer no solutions for that on Instagram.
No, they don't. Well, and I mean, even look at Twitter. Since Elon took over,
absolutely.
He gave everyone blue check marks.
And that's I don't even want to get into Twitter because it's a can of worms. The way everything keeps changing every week, But same idea though. It's Web 2.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about what he's about to do in the future, and I don't want to hear about that. Right? It's a clusterfuck right now. Right? This particular song is focused on Instagram, but the whole idea of Web 2 not being more scammy than Web 3 is fucking ridiculous. It's been scammy this whole time.
I agree.
What the fuck?
It's
so I don't, that's all I'm saying is like, if anybody try to talk to me anything about a Web 3 scam, I'm gonna be like, first, let's talk about the Web 2 scams.
Right. No, exactly. But you actually know about. So
the obvious ones, like they're not even doing anything about, so so don't even get me started. I don't want to hear about Terra Luna. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everyone had Terra Luna. Everyone has fucking Instagram.
Yes.
So
I love this. I'm excited to hear this song.
Yeah, no, it's a banger. It's a banger. So I'm kind of waiting to release him and tease a little bit more. I put the beat on some of my posts that I've been making. So anyways, that's enough promotion on that shit. Cassie, it was great to have you come on and let me know what was catch me up on what everything was going on in the Bahamas. Like I said, I posted on Twitter and stuff, and I told AJ when I was in his Twitter spaces, you guys are doing real journalism. This is not, a talking head on the internet, talking gossip about what Elon Musk said in the news or some shit like that. You guys went there, you witnessed it for yourself, and you reported it back to the world. That's journalism. I don't care if you're an influencer or you work for CNBC. So I appreciate it. And, I appreciate the fact you guys are not like owned by corporate overlords. And, influencers are really doing the work. You're not just an influencer, you're a journalist.
I love it. And it makes me want to get like even more involved, honestly. I mean, I think there's big things coming for everyone here.
For sure. Great talking to you. And I'm sure we'll link up soon.
Yep. Sounds good. Talk to you later, Cash.
You missed a good one if you wasn't there. Taking over the game, man. NFTs, all that. That's how we get it, man. Artists taking it back for ourselves.